as our country's military strength continues to grow. Our country's Navy is already among the best in the world. But in the face of an American naval blockade, our country's Navy is still a little powerless. The main reason, or because it's on the air, there are not as many mothers as there are in the United States. Therefore, our country in the development of aircraft carriers, it's always been growing fast. According to the message display, our country's 004 aircraft carrier has begun preparations for construction. At this point, many military fans began to speculate. How will our country's 004 aircraft carrier be named? At the same time, will the 004 aircraft carrier adopt nuclear power, also known as the object of heated discussion among the military and civilians? Just a while ago, Taiwan's retired generals led the people to make guesses. He indicated the name of our country's aircraft carrier is in geographical order from north to south. To name, they correspond to a surrounding sea area. The Liaoning ship is targeting the Bahai Sea area. The Shanning ship is benchmarking the area around the sea. The Fujian ship is targeting the East China Sea domain. And it just fits the order of our country's aircraft carriers. Now, our country's 004 aircraft carrier has started construction. If we continue to deploy to the south, then in the waters around our country, only the South China Sea, there is no corresponding benchmark aircraft carrier, and the closest to the South China Sea is Hainan Province. Therefore, the Ray Huaman guesses, our country's 004 aircraft carrier, it is likely to be named the Hainan ship. But this law is not conclusive. Because of the Shanning ship, the geographical span with the Fujian ship is too large. If it is named after the region from north to south, the aircraft carrier should be named the Shanghai ship or Zhejiang ship, more regionally appropriate. Now, the 0.3 aircraft carriers so far jump to Fujian province on the southeast coast. This kind of leapfrog geographical selection make the original area, the laws of order become less reliable. In this change, you can see it, naming of our country's aircraft carrier, not just the order of hell rules. It is a manifestation of cultural resonance with the times. This unconventional way of naming aircraft carriers, perhaps it reflects the diversity of the Chinese Navy. Sex and inclusion. The rise of Chinese aircraft carriers inject more vivid and creative connotations. Therefore, speculation about the naming of future aircraft carriers. You need to think bigger. About this, many domestic soldiers and civilians also made some guesses. One of the hottest names, the Sichuan ship and the Taiwan ship. The naming of the Sichuan ship. Many of you may be wondering, because Sichuan province belongs to the inland area, very far from the coastline. So why was it named after Sichuan? In fact, the name comes from the historical background of Sichuan. During the anti-Japanese war, the Sichuan army in Sichuan was the bravest. I have made great sacrifices for the people of the whole country. The patriotic spirit of the people of Sichuan exhibited in that period of history. This proposal, it is to pay tribute to the heroic struggle of the Sichuan soldiers. It also reflects Sichuan, a lofty position in the country's history. This combination of inland provinces and naval forces, combined naming, can also be more. Well, convey the Chinese Navy's all-round and the determination to cover the whole country. And on, the 4 of the 4 aircraft carriers also fits well with the 4 of Sichuan. This shows that the residents' guesses are not random guesses. The name of the Taiwanese ship, it has its own meaning. It involves political positions and territorial disputes. Named after Taiwan, it is Taiwan, has a strong claim to China's inherent territory. It is passed on internationally. China's signal of firm unity. Therefore, on a global scale, safeguarding the dignity of the country and strategic choices for a unified position, the name of our country's aircraft carrier has always been, is a topic of concern, takeoff routine, and uncertainty. The naming of aircraft carrier 004, much anticipated and speculated, although we can. There are some patterns in the past. But this rule, it is not a stereotype in the naming of aircraft carriers. The naming of the aircraft carrier Liaoning deviates from the regional order, and Fujian is built directly across the region to the southeast coast. Therefore, the naming of aircraft carrier 004, there's all kinds of possibilities. And the names of the Sichuan and Taiwan ships attracted much attention. However, except for these two high-profile issues, the naming possibilities of aircraft carrier OO4 go far beyond that. History and culture, elements such as geography can be influenced. Factors that affect the naming of aircraft carriers. This uncertainty. The naming of the Chinese aircraft carrier has turned the suspense upside down. It also sparked a broad discussion. Final decision. It will be produced under the comprehensive consideration of all factors. More for China's fourth aircraft carrier. A meaningful name. This also shows the national cultural heritage and biography of history. An important moment. Except for the naming of the OO for aircraft carrier. For aircraft carrier power selection. And it was a very important issue. Currently for aircraft carrier OO4, will they use nuclear engines? Become a hot topic of concern. To know that our country's Navy since 2012, significant progress has been made. Its strategic objectives have also been adjusted, especially for the demand for ocean warfare capabilities is also growing. Huge increase now. There are many indications that our country's Navy is moving. The development of ocean-going combat capabilities. In recent years, in order to develop our country's ocean-going combat capabilities, directly retired a batch of Type 056 frigates to our country's Coast Guard, and these frigates have only been in service for about 7 years. Under normal circumstances, these ships can also continue to serve the Navy. The main reason for the retirement of this batch of warships is because it cannot meet the ability of ocean warfare. In addition to that, our country's Navy has begun to plan for an ocean-going Navy. With the implementation of this plan, nuclear-powered aircraft carriers have become a part of ocean-going operations. Important choice with the rapid growth of our country's Navy. Our country's OO for aircraft carrier has also begun preparations for construction. However, in the use of nuclear power and conventional power, sparking speculation among the military and civilians. They all have their advantages in terms of power. Nuclear-powered aircraft carriers compared to conventionally powered aircraft carriers have stronger battery life, more suitable for the open sea, perform ocean missions, but the maintenance time of nuclear-powered aircraft carriers is relatively long. It's very expensive to build. This requires comprehensive weighing and careful consideration. Facing this decision, vision and long-term planning of our country's Navy will be crucial. Enhancement of ocean-going capabilities. It is the inevitable choice of our country's naval strategy and development, and a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier is regarded as effective means to achieve this goal. From the past America, from the experience of Russia and other countries, nuclear-powered aircraft carriers are not only advantages in endurance and combat radius, more adaptable to the high-tech nature of future warfare and remote trends. However, the introduction of nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, it also faces a series of technical challenges and complex issues in the choice of power system. To consider the cost comprehensively, maintainability, technology maturity, and other factors. Our country's Navy needs to weigh these factors. Secure the power system of aircraft carrier OO4, able to better adapt to future complexity. Variable battlefield environment. Therefore, the controversy over the power choice of aircraft carrier OO4. It involves the formulation of the country's long-term military strategy. It is also directly related to the future of the Chinese Navy. The actual combat capability, whether it is nuclear power or some other form of dynamical system, will be for the Chinese Navy. Provides greater ocean warfare capabilities, highlighting the rise of national maritime power. This decision will have a significant impact on China's military capabilities. Regional stability and global balance have far-reaching implications. To sum up, it can be seen that naming and power selection of our country's fourth aircraft carrier. There are certain controversies and uncertainties, although some patterns can be found for reference. But our country in aircraft carrier construction and naming has maintained an unconventional style, no matter what the final choice is. Name and powertrain. The key is to be able to effectively support the Chinese Navy. Elevated status in ocean warfare. This also represents China is concerned about national security and proactive responses to global maritime challenges. It is expected that the future aircraft carrier OO4 will be launched as soon as possible, add luster to the Chinese Navy, show the strength and determination of the country. This video ends here. What do you think about that? Welcome to leave a message to discuss. See you next time.